Yo, 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 what's up? I got the green bubbles on my face. I got the neon lights, pink and blue in the back, and I'm here to shoot a YouTube video. This is the first one that I ever do for this channel, so bear with me, but I have some things I want to say, some opinions that I want to share, and hopefully it helps some people out. I want to discuss the topic of the law of assumption, Neville Goddard's teachings, law of attraction, manifestation, all those things. Uh, and I want to share my opinion. I'm no expert by any means, but if you're watching this video, chances are, like most people, you don't have every single thing you've ever desired, and that's what those teachings promise: get everything you want, become rich, become successful, become famous, lose weight, whatever it is you want. Chances are, though, you've read a ton of books, you've watched a ton of YouTube videos, bought a ton of courses, and you're still not there. And you're trying your best. And that's at the same time, paradoxically, while trying your best, you're trying to detach and figure out how the hell do I do that, okay? So in this video, I'm no expert, but I just want to share my opinion and what I think is missing from all these teachings, and that's action. More importantly, not meditating, not visualizing, but aligning and aligned action. And I'll talk about that because you've heard of that, but here I want to talk about it in a little bit of a different context because everybody talks about meditations, visualizations, but very few people actually get results with these things. Let's keep it honest. There's a lot of creators making a lot of money. Um, if you've been studying this stuff for over a year, over 2 years, ask yourself, where have your results really come from? What results have you actually achieved? Chances are you've seen some improvement, but nowhere near to the level where you truly want it. And here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about aligning to the best version of yourself. So for example, if you want to be in the best shape of your life, aligning to that version of yourself in the multiverse, that version. Yes, you have to visualize, affirm, whatever. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to move the physical plane, move the physical world, is action, is taking action. So once you visualize, once you affirm, you are in the consciousness of that person. You imagine yourself, okay, if I was in the best shape of my life, what would I do? What would my daily routine look like? What would my daily habits look like? What would I need to do to become that person? You think about it, you map it out on a piece of paper. I would have to do this, this, and this. I'd probably track my macros every day. I'd probably, do red light therapy on my skin. I'd probably be in the sun for X amount of time. I'd probably do this. I'd probably do that. Whatever that version of you would do, you map it out. And then you actually become that version. You actually try to become in the physical plane that version, which is what everybody misses and doesn't talk about. Yes, in the mental plane, you could establish these kingdoms in the sky, but in the physical world, you have to take action as if you are already that person. That's the part where nobody talks about. And then you have to be consistent with that every single day for a long time. That's what nobody talks about. They talk about living in the end and thinking from the end and all these things. And then they don't address the elephant in the room, which is like, they just say, hey, wait, and then you're going to feel inspired to take action. That's great. But no, you have to start now. If you were that person today, what would they do today? And trying to become that person. And then eventually, as you try to become, you get closer to becoming, and then you inevitably become that person. Once you become that person, everything else is a byproduct of that. So the question is, are you 100%? It's a binary answer, yes or no. Not a 50-50, not a 70-30. Check out my little plan over there. Are you 100% aligned to the person that you want to become? It's either a yes or a no question. Think about it, the millionaire version of you, or the, ripped aesthetically version of you, or the insert whatever goal you want here. Are you 100% aligned to that person? Are you taking the actions that person would take? Are you thinking like that person? Are you talking like that person? Are you walking like them? Are you thinking like them? Yes or no? And then there you go. If your answer is no, and you have to be honest with yourself. If you're 99%, it's not 100%, right? Because if it was 100%, it would already be manifest in reality. So once you're able to maintain 100% for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it probably won't even take that long. So a lot of people are in the mental plane thinking, yes, I want to become, I want to do this, I want to do that, and they have all these goals. But everybody has goals. It's about taking the goals and then putting into the physical world, taking action like that person today, thinking like that person. For example, I don't play baseball. But if I was thinking to myself, what would the Hall of Fame baseball version of myself do? How would they see the world? How would they move? I would imagine, okay, every single day he'd wake up, he'd stretch, he'd ice his knees, he'd take a cold shower. He would, the first 2 hours of the day, get some batting practice. I'm assuming I don't play baseball. And then he would go to the gym and then do some sprints and then he would rest. And while he's resting, he's eating a specific meal with protein. And then, in the evening, he's watching film of great players or studying his movements, etc. That's what I would assume that person would do. And then he would sleep for 9 hours, do the same thing again. If I was to be, and then the movies he would watch would be baseball movies. He'd watch baseball podcasts. He'd watch MLB news. That's what I would assume that version of myself would do. So let's take that baseball example. If I'm just meditating and visualizing affirmations, and then I'm taking mediocre actions, I'm acting as the newbie baseball player, right? The newbie baseball player that just does newbie training, newbie stretching, newbie workout, just generic workouts, not specific, not tailored, not 100% aligned. And you're meditating, you're not going to get the results. You're just not. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves. Yes, that stuff helps you put you in the right mental space, which is the beginning. That's the first part. You need to be in the right headspace. You can't take actions like your ultimate version if you're not in the right headspace. But once you're in the right headspace, you need to go out into the physical world and act as if you were that person. If you were already a Hall of Fame player, how would the Hall of Fame player do his workouts? And I'm telling you, between the average player, Hall of Fame player, there's a great difference. You have to take it like if you were the Hall of Fame player. Same thing applies in business. Same thing applies with your physique. Ask yourself, what is your goal? Fantastic. Adopt it. Do your meditation, do your visualization. Take 20, 30 minutes. Great. And then as you go about the physical plane, what would this person do on a day-to-day basis? What would their habits be? What would their actions be? How would they approach the world? What would they do? And then taking action as that person. And once you're 100% aligned, once you become that person, again, a lot of this is in the subconscious too, because it has to be a habit of where it's in the subconscious deep. Let's say you wanted to make 10K per month. The 10K per month version of you, how would they run their business? What would they be doing every day? How would they be thinking? How would they be acting? Would they have other businesses? Maybe not, maybe yes. I don't know. It depends on you. Everybody's a little bit different. There's not one size fits all for this. Become that in the physical world, and then it all comes back. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share my thoughts. I've never made one of these, so it might not be the best format or video quality or whatever. I probably made some mistakes along the way. But if you like this and you enjoy it, maybe, give me a like or whatever, or follow. I don't know, whatever you want. Maybe I'll make some more of these. I don't know, because I've read so many books. I've bought so many courses on, and everybody wants to be successful, obviously. That's why you're doing this stuff. But paradoxically, you need to take action. And I think I've said that probably 10 times already, so I'll probably leave it at that. But it has to be aligned to the best version of you. Because you know what, I'm gonna continue. If there's two types of actions you could take. You could take action as the current version of you, or you could take action as the best version of you. Right? There's really almost no in between. So when I say take action, most people take action as themselves. Meaning, look, I've never played baseball. So if I try to become a good baseball player, I'm going to take actions as myself. Or I could take action as the Hall of Fame player version of myself. Which one do you think is going to get more results? If I take action as myself, or as I take action as if I was pretending to be a Hall of Fame baseball player? You pretend, and then over time you become. Which one do you think is going to get better action? Same thing in business. Let's say I'm stuck at $5,000 a month in business and I want to grow. Okay, do I take action as myself making 5K a month, or do I take action as the person making 50K a month? Right? Which one do you think is going to get a higher leverage, higher return on investment, higher output for input made on time? Which one do you think is going to be better? It's the same thing. So when you take action, obviously everyone knows action is important. But I just want to put into perspective, if you're doing all these visualizations and meditations, and then you take action as yourself, nothing's going to happen. Try it. couple things are gonna be a little, it might flow a little bit easier for a few days, and you might try, and you might do all this positive thinking, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you need to take action as if you were that person today. And it's not going to happen immediately, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's a shortcut to getting to where you want to go faster, because those are the two types of actions you can take: actions as who you want to be, or where you are right now. You make the decision, and you make the choice, and you decide, and ultimately that's going to decide your life and where you end up, and all of that.